Hello and welcome to Sporty Index and Racing Breaks Royal Ascot preview. I'm very, very pleased to have Frankie Dettori, Racing Breaks and Sporty Index ambassador here with us. Royal Ascot legend, 67 Royal Ascot winners, and this year's a very special year, 30 years since Frankie had his first Royal Ascot winner. Marked distinction for Luca Comani, I believe.
Yeah, it was funny because I got approached with some of the press. Said, do you know you had your first winner at Royal Ascot 30 years ago? I didn't believe it. So 30 years, my God. But, I do remember winning it, and it was a milestone because your first Royal Ascot, it's amazing. I was only 19 as well.
19, amazing. Amazing. And now another 66 winners since, and let's hope this year we get well over the 70 mark.
Be great.
I'm going to take everyone briefly through probably the group races and your thoughts on them, and mainly your rides. I think no better way to start than on Tuesday, the Queen Anne, which was indeed your first Royal Ascot winner.
Correct. I probably have something in the Buckingham in the first, to be confirmed. Queen Anne, we got two horses enter, Lord North and Terabella. There's a possibility that we might drop Terabella back to a mile. She ran very well at the pre-pole in one, obviously, and she seems to have some tactical speed. The mile division looked wide open this year. Obviously, there's a big plus that Ben Battle and also on the QE2 of Richard Arnold's, they're not there to take place. Circus Maximus favourite, but we might roll the dice. She's already won a Group 1, and there's a possibility that she'll run in the QE2.
Yeah, so I'm going to get some odds up here from Sporting Index odds for the race. So Circus Maximus is the favourite there, 11-4. Lord North 10-1. Terabellum 12-1. When will John make these decisions? I guess it's probably in a couple of days' time, will he? Or...
Well, we keep monitoring the ground. We'll have to see. Obviously, Terabella, she's got an entry in the Prince of Wales and the Duke of Cambridge. But at the moment, I think we are leaning towards the Queen Anne. And yes, so let's say that there's a great possibility that she'll turn up there.
Okay, then moving on to the next race on the card that day, which is the Ribblesdale. You won this last year with Starcatcher. Yes.
Frankly, darling, the homework's been pleasing. She hacked up at Newcastle wasn't a very competitive enough because she was taking on colts. She won very well. We feel like she's going to be a Oaks contender, she needs a bit more experience. I think she's got a good profile for this race. The only thing I'm concerned, but not just us, there's a lot of horses in the field that haven't got much experience. So, Ascot can be pretty demanding for a horse that you haven't got much experience. So, on what we've seen so far, she's entitled to be favourite. But again, maybe at that price looks a bit short, maybe because it's John Gosden. But she's sure that she's got ability. I'm just concerned about not having enough experience. But hopefully, if she can handle the track, I think she should run a big race.
And hopefully then go on to run in the Oaks.
Yes, but that's the whole idea. Yeah. This year things are different, obviously, because Ascot is coming before the Oaks. So this is basically, it sounds funny. It's an Oaks trial, really.
It is. I think later on.
And it's a pretty big Oaks trial, call it the Ribblesdale. But we in a way, by looking at the field, we're all in the same position. There's a lot of horses that only run a couple of times.
King Edward VII Stakes, Group 2, 3-year-old colts and geldings. Do you have a ride in this race?
Well, I text Aidan O'Brien and I saw that he's got 6 entries. His jockeys can fly over. I told him that I was free. You know, hopefully I'll get one of those. And like you saw in the Guineas, seldomly the second string beats the first string. He's got so many good horses that sometimes they don't even know which one's the best. So he's in a good position to be, and I hope that he has something for me.
His horses seem very, very fit. Having watched a lot of Irish racing this week, it's been frightening, actually, even by his standards.
You know, obviously, I'm sure that Ran will have his first pick, but you know, I'm waiting to hear.
Okay, and then moving on to the King's Stand Stakes. Interesting enough, no favourite has won this in 10 years. You picked up the ride on Skeptical.
Yeah.
Very exciting horse. So only run on the sand until last weekend, and obviously comes here, and Batash, the horse to beat.
Well, Batash for sure set the standards. And when Batash turns up in his A game, he's unbeatable. Like what you see at York and obviously you saw at Goodwood. But you know, he blows hot and cold sometimes. You know, especially Ascot. He's blown a couple of races, but this year the advantage that he's got is no crowds to get him upset. He set the standard, and Glass Slippers won the Abbey. She's very good. I like Spectacle. Is an improving horse, and you know, them horses, them sprinters, once they get confident, you don't know when they're gonna stop improving. So you know, beating Batash should be a pretty hard task, but you know, I'm on a horse that has improved, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't really know what to expect.
Yeah, well, amazing Skeptical.
You know, it's quite exciting.
It's one of the best races of the week. People say Batash doesn't like the undulations of Ascot, but last year that form to Blue Point you can't really question that, can you? It's pretty solid form.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with that.
Your horse,
Glass
cast off.
Yeah, Glass Slipper. She's an interesting one. She's done nothing wrong. I think she's well overlooked.
Very interesting. And then the Duke of Cambridge Stakes. Have you got a view on that? So, I mean, I think John's horse is going to be ridden by Jim here because it's for Hamdan.
Yes. John's horse looked impressive at Kempton, the Andam horse.
Nazev is the horse. I don't have prices for this race.
That's fine. And Terabella was entered in that race, but she's already won a Group 1. She's carrying a penalty, and I think it looks like that we might send, like I said, possibly the Terabella runs in the Queen Anne. At the moment, I'm penciled in on the Graffard filly. She's okay. She's a good preparation. Finished second last time out. Again, looks wide open. I haven't got much of an opinion on this. It's 4 or 5 fillies that I do like, but it's
very good.
Quite wide open.
So always the first day of Royal Ascot, my favourite. Lots of group races to get tucked into, although they've changed the order of all the races this year.
I mean, what's the difference here? We haven't got the St James's Palace, but apart from that, it's still a pretty good start when you got Queen Anne and the Ribbers there and King Edward. The cover is the first day, correct?
Yeah. So Wednesday, less group races, but still a couple of very exciting races here. First of all, the Hampton Court Stakes, which you won last year on Sangarius. And this is is a Derby trial this year. Correct.
It looks, a quick glance at the entries. Looks competitive. I think I wrote the hypothetical at Kempton, and it didn't quite work out because you probably haven't got the prices.
I haven't got the prices yet, no.
So I got in a speed duel up front, and I think I paid the price in the end. But nevertheless, I think the Andrew Balding horse won really well. And obviously, you got to respect the Aidan O'Briens. He's got about 4 or 5 in. It's always a very hard race to win this because these unknown 3-year-olds, they all come into the race with the same profile, what they want there, made them nicely, or the novice. So, yeah, it's a tough race, and it always is.
Very good, very good. And then the big race of the day, I'm really looking forward to this, is the Prince of Wales Stakes, where Aidan's got the favourite, Japan. Although I fancy maybe a slight upset with Barney Roy here.
Looks an amazing race on paper. We have Medaya, Lord North, Tarabella entered. Japan was it third in the Derby, beaten ahead. Went on to win a John Mont. He won the Grand Prix de Paris and was third in the Arc. I mean, you don't come in a race with a better form than that. I mean, you got to look able to have a better form than that. So he sets the standard. And Barney Roy is a good horse in his own right. Magical, she's overlooked. But I think we penciled in, when I say we, John Gosden, Stable Medaya, Lord North, possibles. Medaya, her homework's been good. She ran a good race in the Champion Stakes, and we're going to take a chance. But I would say Japan, it comes in with the best form, and he's the one we all have to beat. Yeah.
Fair enough. I know not a group race, but the Windsor Castle, will you have one for Wesley Ward?
Yeah, right, one for Wesley's and the Ramsey family. I forgot the name of the horse. Anyway, yes, he's got 2 in the race, all right. One is retained by Oshie Murphy, and I'm riding the other one.
Very good. I was watching a preview yesterday, and Oshie was complaining about how you keep stealing rides off him and winning group races at Ascot.
Well, he's very kind. He always gives me good ones.
Skeptical was one of them, he was saying, actually.
Yeah, but
now I'm going to move swiftly on to Thursday.
Yes.
Big day for you, but for one obvious reason. But I'm going to start the Jersey Stakes Group 3. Very hard race to predict, in my opinion.
Yeah, at the moment, I think we have penciled in the horse I won a Newmarket, King Leo something. Leonis, we won a Newmarket. Do you remember?
Yes, I do, yeah.
King Leo.
Leonardis. King Leonardis. You won on Sunday on it.
Correct. He's a nice Kingman. Yeah, won twice. He won with a penalty nicely. The jersey is usually wide open. This year is going to be different because obviously the Guineas were so much closer to Royal Ascot, and it's very hard to kind of to foresee who's going to be favourite, who's going to turn up. I suspect obviously the winner, second, third and fourth of the Guineas, they will not turn up for different i.e. derbies and at just St. James's Palace. So then you want to look horses, perhaps the Arizonas, the horses will finish further back than fourth. So, this race could fit quite well for my King. So I know he's only run twice, but it's not, when you think the first 4 in the Guineas, they're not going to turn up. So the bridge of taking on good horses is not as big. So
I thought it was very eye-catching, your horse on Sunday with the penalty going away.
Yeah, he's interesting.
Right, the race, obviously, we're all concentrating on that day. Is Stradivarius in the Gold Cup. Can he do it again?
Why not? I mean, this was always been the target. We know that he stays 2.5 miles. We know that he's going to turn a foot. This year, the only change this year has got Kew Garden to deal with. Kew Garden comes in without a prep race. It's never been 2.5 miles, but Kew Gardens beat Stradivarius twice. He's beat him in the Sun Ledger, and he's beat him in the long distance race at Ascot. Of course I want Stradivarius to win. I'm taking every opposition seriously. The horse is in good nick. It's always been the target, and yes, I'm looking forward to ride him. And with him, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's going to give you everything, and I just hope that then we win. That's it. We try.
I mean, it's very hard for us to tell at home. Was it a hard race, the prep race, or on last week?
It was. I gave him one flick. We every time he's won a Gold Cup, he's at the prep race. Basically, it was like Usain Bolt versus Mo Farah. You know what I mean? We were taking on horses much faster than us. We knew the outcome beforehand, but it's not like we were trying to safeguard his unbeaten record. He has been beaten before, so the mentality of that race was try to get him to the races. It's only on our doorstep to make sure that we're going to be 100% for the Gold Cup, because Mr. Bjorn Nielsen is very keen to keep the Gold Cup as his prime priority.
Quite right too. And I mean, this is one race where I thought you might have a flying dismount if you retain it.
I rode a couple of winners in Newmarket the weekend, and I mean the race in itself was amazing. I loved it, but such an anticlimax when you go to the winners' enclosure and you're there with the trainer. Not even the owner's there to celebrate. Even if you are happy to win, but it's hard to get motivated to do it. But listen, we'll see what happens. It's completely bizarre what we are doing, but imagine how empty Ascot is going to be. And usually we have 60,000, and it's only just 2 people in the winners' enclosure. It's going to be pretty bizarre and different. So we'll see.
I hope to see you doing it many times this week, with or without crowd. Right, let's move on to Friday. There's lots of group races on Friday.
Yeah.
First race, another race, the Albany, with lots of multiple entries. Have you got anything in the Albany?
I'm probably going to ride the little filly I got beat last night, the Warfront filly of John Gosden.
Oh, yeah.
She ran good. She just got pipped on the line. And the reason we're thinking of trying is because everybody's in the same position. We only just run once. Some have won, some have finished second, and she's most likely automatically eligible for the race. And why not? If you would ask me in any other normal years, it might have been a bit too much to ask for a horse. But this year, we all in the same position. And talking to John yesterday, we thought, well, if she comes out of the race well, we might bring her back for this race.
And then on to the Norfolk, 1 furlong less, 5 furlongs. You won this last year with Al Ali, I think. Eye of Heaven? Yes.
Yeah. When I rode it, I told Mark, let's go straight to the Norfolk. Exceed and excel, tweedle, good size. I was impressed how he handled the dip for such a decent sized 2-year-old, and I like him a lot. He's done nothing wrong. He won really well. Wesley's very keen on his Uncle Mo horse. He's begging me to ride it, but I was committed for this one. And again, you don't know what's coming from Ireland. Norfolk is usually a good race. So, but I might be there in the picture. He was very eye-catching his win.
Very good. And then next race, Group 2, the Hardwick Stakes.
Yeah, I know we haven't done the entries yet, but John mentioned maybe Fanny Logan should run a good race at Adot. I know I haven't seen the entries, but I suspect horses like Magic Wand, Anthony Van Dyke, maybe those who won the Irish Derby last year, was it Sovereign? What was it? Yeah, and I would say Ada will come in this race pretty strong-handed. So then obviously the usual Defoe. I mean, we know the usual suspect for this race. So yeah, again, I would say that the Ballydoyle, they're going to be very hard to beat in this.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of trends, 4-year-olds go very well. One sort of won a group race, and if they're trained by Stouty, Mark Johnson or Aidan, those are all positives. If you're looking to have a bet in that race.
Yeah.
Commonwealth Cup, yet another race you won last year on Advertise.
Yes.
For Martin Mead.
That's the one I nicked from O'Shea Murphy. That's why he's complaining.
He's won enough times on Advertise. Come on.
Yeah. Right. So Commonwealth. This is a race. Then when Wesley sent me the list of his horse he was going to take, and I said this is the one that I wanted to ride. It was Kalani. She was second in the Queen Mary. I just beat her on a Ruffle Price, which is in tremendous form. Then she was run on strongly in the British Cup Turf Juvenile. She finished 4th. I think she fits this race well. I think she has run in the spring already in Keeneland. Group 1, looking at this list, looks pretty competitive, But I think she'll run a nice race.
Would you have ridden her since you rode her last year when you were second to Raffle Price? Sorry.
I can't remember what happened last year, but I don't know if I took Mark course before he asked me to ride it. I think last year he had his own American jockeys who had most of the rides, and I think Johnny Velasquez won on it beforehand. That's why he rode her. But in general, if I'm available, Wesley likes me to ride him. So I think last year, because Johnny Velasquez won on it, he kept the ride.
Perfect. And the final race that day, the final group race, Group 2, the Queen's Vase, very open race as always.
Again, I can't think anything for John at the moment until we see the entries. Again, Aidan will have 5 or 6. He's got staying type. What I guess he doesn't run in the King Edward VII. It'll probably run in this race. Again, it'd be him, Mark Johnson, the usual suspect. Will have horses what kind of run that distance.
And then we'll move on to Saturday, where Royal Ascot finishes off with an absolute bang, and lots more group races on Saturday. And there could be if Skeptical wins on, and we'll come to that race, but Skeptical could be doing something on Saturday in the Diamond Jubilee that I believe only Choisir and Blue Point have done before.
Yeah, I mean, the plan at the moment is to run it in both, but we'll see what happens up the first day and how it comes out of the race. But that's the plan at the moment. I'm booked for both races. Fingers crossed. Right, Queen Mary. I'm penciled it on one of Wesley's. Well, actually saw win at maybe Keeneland. Capanelle, the same owner of Lady Aurelia, Barbara. Again, this, the filly of O'Brien looked very good the other day. There's a couple of fillies who have won Newmarket, so we don't know what to expect with Wesley's, so looking forward to that. Then we roll into the Coronation. Wide open this race. Have you got the betting for that?
Coronation, I don't. The only race I've got for that day is the St James's Palace Stake, I'm afraid. I know this is a race you've never won, Frankie. I hate to say
Yeah,
things.
correct. Listen, I'm working on something for this race. I can't say what, but hopefully I'll have a decent ride in the race. Coventry, again.
Listen, the Coventry is going to be 10 to 1, 12 to 1 the field at the moment. It's so
Yeah,
difficult.
well, yeah. I don't even know the runners. Let's move on to the St James's Palace. What?
St James's Palace, here we go. I'll get some batting up for you.
Yeah, will you shut the boot of my cup? Right. Obviously, I believe that Wichita will outstay Pigatubo again in St James's Palace. On a stiffer track, I don't think it was many excuses for Pinatubo. I think the stiffer mile will suit Wichita. We're going to roll the dice with Palace Pier, what we thought a lot of him last year, had a little setback. And then he started again in the free run cup in Newcastle. And he's been quite laid back at home, and he showed what we knew he could do at Newcastle. And yes, he's interesting. He's quite laid back at home, so it was very hard to judge. But I was on the eye looking at the race in Newcastle. I was quite impressed, and we're gonna take a chance.
Yeah, confident he can win a Group 1.
I'll tell you after Saturday. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, he's quite laid back at home, so it's very hard to judge. He's won a free roll handicap with top weight, but he won really well. So now that's why we are taking a chance and giving it a go, because we're really we're not sure how good he's going to be. You know, we know all the signs are good. We're going to throw him in the deep end here. He's taking on some serious sources, champion 2-year-old and the Guinness second. So we've not a lot more. You know, I'm not going to put you off it, but I'm not going to say he'll win. You know what I mean? He's there to try.
Absolutely. If anyone can get it ready, it'll be John Gosden. Right. So then back to the Diamond Jubilee, where hopefully you'll be riding Skeptical for the second time.
Yes. I mean, this horse is very versatile. It's won over the 5.5. So obviously we're relying on Batash to see what happens on Tuesday. But this looks a wide open race. Looking at that, I would say Yellow Hume Zane is the 6th furlong horse through and through. Space Blues has been running over 7. One Master has been running over 7. So this wide open race could really fit in for the spectacle.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for that, Frankie. I'm just going to ask you a couple more questions before we let you go. Is there any horses you're not riding that you would love to ride this week?
Well, obviously Japan, Batash, the obvious ones. They're the champions, really. Looking forward to ride, obviously, my own boys, Stradivarius. I mean, those are the obvious ones. The interesting, really, this year is them 2-year races, because we don't know enough about them. And it'd be very interesting to see the Ribosdales, the King Edward, the Hampton Court, those races that they're going to give us clue for the Derby and the Oaks. I'm very looking forward to see them races. Obviously the handicaps and the other races that we pretty much know them kind of horses. So because as soon as Royal Ascot finishes, the Derby and the Oak. So it's quite bizarre, but it's also interesting and something for the viewers to watch.
No, it's been amazing.
At the moment, we've seen English King. We've seen one of Ballydor's winning the Derby, the Berringstown Derby trial. We haven't seen enough, so we would like to see more. And this next week, we got the opportunity.
Obviously, next week on Wednesday after racing, Arsenal play Man City in the return of the Premier League. Confident with that?
Really? We couldn't have started the worst place. It's not good for our confidence playing Man City away. Be interested what they've done behind the scene. I mean, we were a long way behind the top 5 really when we stopped this from this coronavirus. But who knows if we have a fitness advantage or Arteta managed to get the right team, the right 11. So he was going for a change, but we'll see. That's interesting.
And finally, I can't let you go without asking you, have you sat on Enable recently?
I did, yes. I sat on yesterday. Obviously, it's free. We've got 3 weeks till the eclipse, just over 3 weeks. She, for me, it's emotional riding every morning, but, it goes, it's not a secret. She's just an average worker. But when I ride her, I'm more concentrated on her stride, her well-being, and the way she stretches, and all those things were good. She always saves the best for the afternoon. She's 6 now, so she knows the drill. But exciting to still have her in training, and wow, only 3 weeks to go. Amazing.
It's so exciting, so exciting. Just a few more things here. For anyone wanting to book with Racing Breaks next year, there's a lovely promotion where you get £25 off your Royal Ascot package for 2021 if you use the promo Preview25, the number 25, Preview25 to get £25 off any Royal Ascot package next year. At Sporting Index, if you go onto sportingindex.com or sportingindexodds.com, you'll be able to see lots of different offers there. £100 for spread bettors, an offer for bet £10, get £10 on fixed odds, lots of stuff. And, remember, losses may exceed deposit. It's spread betting. And always please remember to gamble responsibly. Frankie, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck next week. I really hope we get you over 70. And who knows, 75 would be a lovely number to get to, wouldn't it?
It'd be nice. Well, big thank you to all of you at Sporting Index, my good friends at Racing Breaks. I miss my Monday pre-Royal Ascot game of golf for charity. I'm sorry we can't do this year, but once we get this country up and running, I'm sure we'll all get together, have a knock, and please enjoy racing and take care.
Brilliant. Thank you, Frankie.